pregame about kind of viewing these two games with the Aces as like a little mini playoff series.
Yeah.
How do you, as a veteran and as a leader,
Yeah.
how do you go about leading your team without actually having played in a playoff series before down the stretch of the season?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think right now we have to utilize it, and I mean that's a really awesome question. I think, like you said, we have to visualize it like it is a series. And knowing that it's the series with Vegas Aces, I think you don't get no better than that from like seeing where you are standpoint. I think that we got to gauge at where we are against reigning champs, and I think that we put ourselves in a position and go back to film, see what we can be better at. And as a leader, it's my job to make sure that we have confidence because even though we lost, even though things didn't go our way, confidence is always going to uproot anything else. And I think that we got to have that going into Friday.
Go Christine, then Alexa.
Kelsey, as tough as it was, right, missed shots and turnovers and whatever, you guys were kind of always close enough. Was there that sense that if you could have made a run, that you could have?
Oh, for sure.
And is there a positive to take from that?
Yeah, that's what I was telling to the previous question. It's not all bad. I think that, considering when we used to play the Vegas Aces, especially this year alone, our first game, and you look back to this, third or fourth game, hats off to our group because we came a lot of different ways on both ends of the floor. And if we could have got, an extra possession here and there offensively, of course, I think that we would have had a better position and, going to get what you guys usually see. But, life happens. Shots don't always fall, and I think it's a part of the game.
Go Alexa, then James on the right.
Kelsey over here, kind of going off that question earlier, when you guys think about the goals that you have for this season as a group and for longer term, and then you look at a team like the Aces who have won 2 championships, what are some of the qualities that they have that you guys think you can emulate and kind of the push for you guys to be contenders?
Oh, man, I think the one thing that I saw at the group down the stretch was a dog mentality to get the next stop. We had, made a stretch and made a really good run down the stretch of the game, and I think that they turned it on during that timeout. And I think that, great teams turn into a different person, a different beast, a different group when you come out of ATOs and when you, do certain things and need certain things. And I think, they didn't tuck with your quote-unquote tail. They kind of came out in that timeout and kind of went on another run, and I think that's what you see from the best.
Go James and Matt.
Kelsey, what was it about that second quarter that made it so difficult to score, and then how'd you like the response that you all showed?
Oh, man, I think that anytime you guys don't see us defend and see us get stops, you won't see us in transition where we really are our best. I think, hands down, one of the best transition teams I've ever been a part of, and I think you guys see that when we defend, and I think, down the stretch, Tiff Hayes got loose, and then Kelsey Plum got loose, and, we didn't stop the bleeding enough on the defensive end to kind of, get what we wanted in that second quarter, I don't think, so.
We'll go Matt, then we'll finish up with Dom in the back.
Kelsey, Lexi gets in foul trouble in the second.
Yeah.
Aaliyah gets in foul trouble in the
Yeah.
fourth. Seemed like there was a lot of different lineup combinations out there. How much of a role, if at all, do you think that played in, maybe not being able to get that,
I think it's always a next man up mentality from our group, but like I said, down the stretch, you saw who Asia Wilson was, and what she could bring to the table, and I think that collectively, no matter who is in or out, we have to pay attention to be more mindful and be more disciplined to keep our best of the best a part of those runs, and during next man up, be disciplined. I think our discipline kind of like shot us in the foot today.
Dom, last one in the back.
Yeah, Kelsey, it just kind of felt like a grind offensively.
Yeah, it really was.
In this one today, was
was.
it kind of, do you look in the mirror like that's on us? Were they doing something defensively? And then playing this team on Friday, what can you look? I know you haven't looked at the tape yet, but just something you can take away to have better success on Friday.
Oh, man, I think for us to even be in conversation Friday, to be a team like that, we have to, the 50-50 balls, the outworking, taking that foul, the aggressive foul, not meaning to hurt anybody, but obviously, we got to be intentional with everything we do going into Friday, and we can't play around with it. I think that we all kind of like lapsed, and we kind of like took whatever, we took whatever they gave us, and we didn't have to. And so I think going into our next maturation and our next group and our next phase of Friday, we can't take anything. We have to punch first, and when they do punch back, we got to be able to stand up and get back to it.
This performance and I guess pick up and try to get back at it to Friday.
Yeah, obviously a tough night shooting the ball. It's going to happen. It's basketball. One of those nights. Overall, I didn't feel like I played bad. I felt as a group we really struggled to make shots that we had been making really since the start of the second half. And sometimes that's basketball. They're a great defensive team. They're going to be physical with me. They're strong. So that can kind of wear you down through the process of a game. I mean, obviously I played 37 minutes and I subbed myself out right there in the first quarter for that little break. So probably would have gone all 40 again too. So I think just, prepare the best I can going forward. With a day in between, you really got to take time for your body. But yeah, I mean, definitely one of those nights shooting the ball. But then again, it's basketball, happens to everybody.
Go Alexa, then Tony.
Caitlin, Kelsey was in here and brought up maybe that this wasn't the best night discipline-wise for this group. I was just curious if you thought that was an issue out there, and that's something maybe you guys have been better at in the second half, and maybe it just was a step in the other direction.
Yeah, I think we could have definitely been better. Obviously, you're going to say that after you lose. But at the same time, our goal is to hold people under 84 points, and we held them to 86. And they got a lot of offensive firepower. So, but at the same time, I felt like they missed some shots that they usually make as well. So you have to give them a little leeway there too. So I think there's definitely things that we can go back and look at and clean up and prepare for, Friday when we play again. But I think we just seemed a step slow on the offensive end, especially. And especially with the type of defense they're going to play, they're going to be physical, they're going to be in your space. We have to set and use screens better. But defensively, I think I'm proud of our group. We really struggle to make shots, but we never let that affect our defense. I thought we really battled, and they got some calls where they got some and ones late in the game too. So I'm honestly proud of how we did. I thought we were pretty resilient, and hopefully we can shoot it a little better on Friday.
Go Tony, then Christine.
Caitlin, we've heard from a couple of you guys about using this kind of series style as a playoff launching moment, and you've had some of these series styles before this year, but how has your ability to adjust against an opponent changed throughout the season? What do you feel like you guys need to do better on Friday?
Yeah, I feel like at this point in the season, you're obviously very familiar with every single team that you're going to play. This is going to be our fourth time playing them, so I still feel like we haven't really given them the best that we have. So I think Friday is a great opportunity for us to do that. But yeah, it is obviously a unique experience. I don't know if we've played a team really back-to-back, other than maybe New York early in the year. I think we played them right away. We went there, they came back here. So I think it's one of those ones you got to go back and tweak a few things that didn't work, add a few things that they might not be ready for. But overall, just continue to be confident in what we've been able to do since, we really figured out our identity and who we are, and, figure out how to make some bunnies. And I think just continue to be confident. Some nights you're not going to be as good as you were the other night, but you just learn from it and move on.
Go Christine, then Matt.
Caitlin, as the game wore on, you guys were still 7-9 points. It was almost doable in some way if things had gone, if a 3 had gone or whatever. Could you take us into your mindset of knowing that maybe just 1-3 or one moment, especially with this crowd, right on a school night, just amazing, that really could turn the tide for you?
Yeah, well, I thought the game felt very choppy. It didn't feel like there was any moments where the crowd could get into it, where we could really get into a flow. I'm not sure if that's the way it was officiated, whether it was good calls or bad calls, whatever it was. It just felt like there was a lot of stoppage within the game, and sometimes that's hard to really get your team going in a flow, especially with the style of basketball that we want to play. You really want to get up tempo and continue to play, and then obviously AB gets in foul trouble, and I thought AB honestly played really, really good defense tonight. But I think overall, like you said, the crowd was really good. And I felt like even though it was 7 points or 8 points, all we needed was 1-3 and then another stop and we make a layup and who knows, and then it's a one possession game. But it felt like we just couldn't find the way to get over the hump like we have in the past, whether it was with Minnesota where we got back to one possession or whether it was the Dream where we got back and eventually won the game. But it would be nice to not have to have those prayers where you're fighting to get back within one possession, especially in the fourth quarter. Yes, we're capable of it, but it would be nice to be the team with the lead and trying to defend that on your home court instead. And, that should be our goal going into Friday.
Go Matt, then we'll finish up with Chloe.
Yeah, Caitlin, you guys get to see Las Vegas again on Friday. I was just curious how much of a challenge it is to deal with Chelsea Gray's physicality on defense, especially when refs are going to, call those offensive fouls on the arms.
Yeah, honestly, Chelsea didn't guard me a ton, maybe a couple times. Jackie was usually the defender that was matched up on me, or when Colson came in. And honestly, they're all really good defenders. They're physical, they're strong. The offensive fouls are definitely surprising at times. I feel like I do get held and get quite a bit of contact throughout the games, and then you get hit with some of those when you take some contact and give contact back. It is what it is. I don't know. I don't know, like apparently they see something different, and then we have to use our challenge to try to not let AB have a fifth foul in the third quarter that basically takes her out of the game. We lose a challenge, we lose a timeout, so that's tough as well. But I mean, they're going to be physical. They're going to do it again. It worked. But that's what I should expect at this point. That's kind of what every team does. I think I can use my quickness a little bit better, absorb a little more contact, set up cuts a little bit better. I thought overall I got a little bit tired and wasn't moving as fast tonight. So definitely will be a focus point on Friday.
Chloe, last one.
Yeah, you mentioned, you weren't able to get into a flow. Did Lexi kind of getting in foul trouble in the first half, and obviously you mentioned AB, did that just all affect it as well?
Yeah, I mean, you never want people in your team getting in foul trouble, but at the same time, like, it's just next man up. You put people in the game, and, you just keep moving on. And honestly, I thought we did a pretty good job of that. And like I said, I'm proud of our group. Like, we battled. Like, we really did. Like, we got some stops on defense. We were pretty resilient in that regard. I thought we rebounded really well as well. I thought Tammy was great on the boards. I thought she was really good on defense. But I think, like I said, you just got to go back and learn from it. I think we can always do a little bit better job of, like, I feel like we're there and we're in good position. It's just like we're not keeping our verticality at times. And they're going to call that any time, whether you touch it or not. And it's not something you can really go back and review because if you're not vertical, they're still going to give you the foul. So I think just, we're playing good defense and just continue to play it out through the entire possession.
Kelsey talked about the physicality the Aces displayed tonight. What was it about their defense, their physicality that kind of just knocked you all, I guess, off a little bit, especially in that second quarter?
Yeah, I mean, they're a really good team, right? We'll start there. They're a really, really good team, and they are very physical. And, but we still took a lot of wide open shots that just didn't fall for us tonight that has been falling. So the one thing I will say is usually in the past when our shots weren't falling, we didn't do a very good job defensively. We held them to their average. They're averaging 86 points. We held them to their average. So we just have to find hit those wide open shots. Maybe didn't get some calls in the paint where we were really trying to be physical in the paint and didn't get some fouls. I think AB and Liz both didn't get some calls. But, we got to keep playing through that. And we got to make free throws. We missed a lot of free throws too.
Go Jacob, then Chloe.
This is the third game in a row now that you've trailed by double digits, kind of been forced to play from behind. Is there a trend or anything you're kind of noticing that's leading to that?
Just got to get stops, and a lot of it at times is transition. Sometimes it's quick shots that we're taking that we don't have an opportunity to get back. But that's, we're going to play at a fast pace, and we just have to do a better job of getting back. And then, Asia Wilson goes 11 for 28. I'm okay with that percentage. You just can't let two players come off the bench and get, 14 and 12. We can't let that happen. So, got to do a better job of not letting those leads, not letting that lead get so far ahead, and then we're battling hard. But then, we have a kick out three to cut it to 5 late that we missed, offensive rebound. And then some free throws that we needed to hit late.
Go Chloe, then Matt.
Yeah, you mentioned treating this like a playoff series pregame. Is there anything you can take from this game for, a playoff series?
Yeah, we're going to make some adjustments. We can't, Asia shot probably 10 of her made baskets were at the free throw line. She was hitting that high post jumper. So a lot of times that happened in our pick and roll scheme where we were having to come over and help on a chug, and we were having to get back to ours in the corner. So we'll clean that up tomorrow. But then just not allowing people to come in that, aren't able to, put up these kind of numbers. We can't let those players come in and be relevant.
Go Matt, then Christine.
Yeah, Christy, with Lexi in foul trouble, Aaliyah in foul trouble, you have to go to your bench. A lot of bench players come out. And I think Las Vegas had, 3 times the bench points. You talked about treating this as a playoff series. Is the bench production a point of concern as the season wraps up?
We're trying to make those adjustments. What's hard is this is kind of the way we've been playing. And so these guys, Caitlin, Kelsey, they've been playing those kind of minutes. So it's just really hard to try to keep that momentum and flow going, to keep it the same. But yeah, Timmy coming in with AB in foul trouble. I thought Dantas, probably could have given her more minutes late, her and and Timmy playing together would have been, okay. I thought Liz gave us some good minutes. She was pretty, got some big rebounds for us. Edub in the first half, hit a couple shots. Just got to find time for them. We're just looking ahead, trying to, this is a playoff series for us. That's how we're playing it. So we were trying, we need a win. Got to make those adjustments, come in on Friday and try to get that win on Friday. And then, use next week, which is a different week for us. It's kind of like a playoff week. Get ready for Washington, but have a couple more days of where we can get, not a rest, but like just maybe not, a practice where we're just doing walk-through development and shooting. So we'll just see how that goes next week. But just trying to get, we don't want to be, you can't change up a lot when things have been going a certain way.
Go Christine, then Tony.
So Christy, Caitlin's night, obviously not her best night. It's still 16.6 assists. She said she was tired a little, and I guess went back. We watched her walk out and then come back. Was there anything to that? And then in general, how did she kind of overcome, clearly a tough defense, right? And she's working like crazy.
Yeah.
Is that what that was, that tiredness?
Oh, I think most of her shots, if you go back and look at them, they all hit the front of the rim. And I think that overtime game the other night just kind of really, they did. There were times they looked really, they were tired. And that, when your shot's falling short like that, that's just a huge indication of that. So, got to get in with our trainers and get what they need. That's what tomorrow's going to be about, and just some adjustments up on the court.
Go Tony and Scott.
Didn't look like you guys ever really hit your tempo that you've been used to recently on the offensive end. Why do you think that was the case, and how do you get back to it on Friday?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with just getting those stops. That's where we're at our best, right? When we're able to get out and run in transition. Got to do more of that, and then also hitting some of those shots gives you a little bit more juice on the defensive end as well. So once we get that back and then get some stops and get out and run in transition, we should get back to what it's been looking like.
Go Scott, then we'll finish with Alexa.
When Vegas is throwing different bodies at Caitlin, swarming her, not taking away her airspace, what do you want to either see from her more or from her teammates to kind of jumpstart the offense when things like that continue to happen?
Yeah, I felt like, and I'll have to go back and watch the video, but I kind of felt like we kept the ball on one side of the floor a lot more than when we needed to. A lot of times if they were in a pick and roll, they read it, Caitlin, she got it to like AB or that post. Like we were looking to go right back to the same side and not get the ball to the opposite side. That's going to be a Kelsey probably. So we just need to do a better job of getting to that second and third side, making them work a little bit harder.
Alexa, last round.
Christy, when you think about where you want this team to go this year and beyond, and then you think about Vegas and what they've done as two-time champs, being able to develop young talent, former lottery picks and whatnot, what are some of the qualities that you hope that your team can emulate from that group in particular that makes them so good?
Yeah, they've won the last 2 years because they just go out and play so well together as a team. Those last couple years, like they were just, if it wasn't your night, it was somebody else's night, and that's just what they did. And I think that is just growth. We have the young talent, and they're still figuring all that out. I think their leadership, just the way they've grown. I think they won a championship after 5 years of getting those picks. It takes time. Our goal is to try to keep this group together and build exactly what, they have built, and also like where Minnesota was several years ago and what they built. That's our goal.